graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
He did it the same way they manipulate us into buying toothpaste, car wax, even politicians. All prepackaged, the least offensive, most appealing alternative. But it's precisely when humor is offensive that we need it most. Comedy should provoke. It should blast through prejudices, challenge preconceptions. Comedy should always leave you different than when it found you. Sure, humor can hurt, even alienate, but the risk is better than the alternative. A steady diet of innocuous, childproof, flavorless mush. Demand to be challenged, to be offended, to be treated like thinking, reasoning adults, and raise your children to be the same. Don't let a comedian, a network, a congressional committee, or an evil genius take away your freedom to laugh at whatever you want.
It's just a coincidence that you were talking about the Jack and Triumph show and I'm here. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, a guy who makes all those unlistenable podcasts over at smodcast.com, and you're listening to the Two Strangers, One Podcast. This is podcasting.
You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. Now, here's Chris Colon and Paul Pasquillo.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And Jesus Christ, has it been a fucking clusterfuck of computer errors. I don't even know what's going on right now. It got to the point where I'm actually not even... I lost my show notes. I lost the fucking show notes. So right now we're literally going to wing it for the 67 people who download this podcast, the 67 loyal listeners of the podcast.
Exactly.
Thank you for coming back, or at least thank you for at least subscribing. So at least those numbers, because ever since
this is called bullshitting.
Yeah, it's ever since Paul took us off he took us off and put us back on, but
no, I know it's always been there.
PTInc.com.
It's always been there. I have not touched
Our numbers
it.
have dramatically dropped.
I swear.
And I doubt it's because quality of the show. The show stayed the same in quality.
I swear I have not touched it.
But let me see where to begin. I have good news and I have bad news, neither of which I can fucking discuss, or neither of which I plan on talking about this episode. So that'll be like a nice teaser for next episode. I have really fucking good news and really fucking bad news, and both of them are way too early to fucking talk about right now. So I guess that's a spoiler if you want to listen
merely
to
a flesh wound.
246. If I'm still fucking here by episode 246, because I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna either drink myself into a fucking coma or fucking take a mouthful of fucking pills, because I hate the fucking world right now. Just even this night is a fucking indication
I think
of everything that's wrong with the fucking world.
I can help you with that, because I can talk about some things. So.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, okay, look, I understand suicide's not the fucking answer, but Jesus Christ, it's like for every fucking step forward I take 2 fucking steps back. For every little bit of progress. And it's funny because I not that I listen to the old episodes, but sometimes I'll just so much shit has happened. So much obviously the last episode, the funny thing, I talk about how wonderful things are going on between me and my daughter's mother. Well, that shit went to total fucking shit, and we are now bitter fucking mortal enemies again, and that's nothing new. And of course I shouldn't have double guessed it. I shouldn't have said, "Oh no, maybe we could be friends." No.
By the way, we do have somebody watching.
And we do have Paul's baby Shy, which I guess can we get around?
Yeah, no, he's right here. He's right here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
don't get him on the camera. The fucking cat's name is Shy, Paul. I'm assuming if it's Shy, it would be like...
My ex named him, okay? I don't know what to tell you, so... I saved him. He's fine.
Oh.
He's fine.
So,
Don't you? Yes, you are.
Alright, so... I don't know if you want to jump right into something you wanted to talk to, because I kind of know what I
want
to talk
racist,
about.
By the way. We'll just jump
apparently, Paul at his job has been... Oh, wait.
Oh, God.
Can we? I just want to get into something before you get into it.
What?
I want to apologize for everyone who's listened to the last episode and hearing that rubbing noise. That rubbing noise was Paul molesting his new laptop.
I can't rub it right now because I'm recording. So
yeah, but last week I guess you had it closed because you weren't playing video games while we were recording. So
I don't know. That was my nervous twitch, I guess.
And it came out nice and beautiful, crystal clear on your new microphone. So for the listeners of the show, and I'm trying not to rock the table. I don't know if I rocked the table before this episode earlier, but I apologize for rocking the table a couple minutes earlier, and I'm pretty sure Paul apologizes for rubbing his laptop. I mean, like, dude, like, the whole fucking episode is rub. So, but, you know... So
I didn't mean it.
If you listened to the last episode and still came back to listen to this one, thank you very much. Okay, so let's get into how Paul is a gigantic racist who hates black people.
So if it hasn't been apparent by now, like, I have a lot of city people that come, which happen to be black people, and the problem is that I get these. I don't sit there and I'm not racist about it, but I call them ignorant black people, because they are the type of black people that will immediately just jump to, oh, you're being racist towards me. And it seems like the last 2 weekends, and I'm sure this weekend I'll get the same shit too, it's one thing or the other happens. So, like, for example,
of course,
the fucking cat has to jump
just to show fucking what I have to deal with. The fucking cat decides to jump right in the middle of the table.
Apparently, he misses,
and
he wants attention.
He's just talking. He's like, "Why don't you talking to me?
Come down here. Just come down here. Go. Get down."
You gotta love the live podcast, people.
All right. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying. So apparently, I'm a racist because. Let's see what happened. Not this last. Well, we'll start with 2 weeks ago. So on the weekend, so Saturday we have a curfew, and you know, people that get in obviously should be of age, but doesn't always happen that way. Mm-hmm. So what's going on is what happened was I had this these two girls. They came out of, I don't remember which movie it was. It was over on the one side of the theater. And, of course, if you go behind me and walk to the other side of the theater and go towards the other movie theaters, I'm going to sit there and ask you, hey, what's going on here? What are you guys doing? Because I don't want anybody sneaking into films. It's stupid. So these girls are like, oh, we're going to the bathroom. I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay. You do realize there's a bathroom over there, right? And they're like, well, we're going to go to the bathroom. I'm like, fine. When you guys are done, you got to go. Excuse me? I'm like, what? What do you mean, excuse me? I'm like, I told you, you can go to the bathroom, but when you're done, you got to go. You got to go. Mm-hmm. I want to speak to your manager. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I am the manager that's on right now. Mm-hmm. Well, I want somebody higher. I'm like, security, just come here. Like, and then apparently, like, she wanted to have a refund. She wanted to, you know, all this. She's like, she wanted a refund. You're being racist to me. And I'm like, all I asked you was a simple question. What were you doing? I said you could go to the bathroom. You did. Now you got to go. Are you going to give me a refund or not? No, you're not getting a refund.
So they tried to sneak into
and they left.
Movie.
They basically they got caught. They basically got caught and they got pissed, and then they used the race card. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, really, guys? So the next night, by the way, this one I didn't even initiate. I get this. There's these Latinos that are in. It was 47 meters down, and all except one of them speaks English. So I'm like, oh god, here we go. And here's the kicker. Like they weren't even like. They weren't even. It didn't even seem like they were going to think that was them, honestly. So I told the one manager because there was a complaint, and some people came out and they actually wanted to go to a different movie because they didn't want to hear them talking throughout the movie. They said to me, they're like, I said to him, I was like, look, if they do it again, they got to go, okay, because we can't have that. And pretty much we let them. It was more than halfway through the film before we got rid of them. Mm-hmm. And they told him that he was a racist, and they're like, we're not going to leave unless we're going to get a refund. So I went in there and I said, look, guys, fine, you want a refund? That's fine. You guys just got to go. Well, you never warned us. I'm like, sir, one of my ushers came up here and shined the light on you. Mm-hmm. Like, what does that indicate to you? Well, you guys are being racist. I'm like, all right, got to go. I'm like, come on, let's go.
Just shut the fuck up. Like, and let me tell you, because I went to see, and later on in the episode we'll talk about Spider-Man. I went to go see Spider-Man Thursday night, the night before it comes out. So, like, obviously, anyone going to a fucking Thursday night show, obviously is a fan. The 7:30 show, for Christ's sake, or the 7:05, or whatever, the early show, because I had training that day, so I got out of work early. I went to the Spider-Man, and the guy in front of me like instantly, like right in, like. And now, mind you, the guy had to be he was a tall dude, and he was there with a couple of kids.
Right.
I think the back of his shirt like said like counselor or some shit like that, like camp counselor. I'm under the impression that this guy was probably with these kids, not a relative, sort of just like, you know, some sort of, you know, Big Brother program or so, you know, something, whatever. And, you know, we're going to go see Spider-Man, and it's an early show, and the kids are young, and I got no problem with the kids. Like, immediately, as soon as the fucking movie starts, he pulls out his phone, and he's playing like a video. He's playing like a Mortal Kombat like fucking game on it. And now this was also like a 6 foot tall motherfucker, so and I was like, I don't fucking understand. You know, these people who like pull out their phones every 30 seconds because they want to see the time. Mm-hmm. And at least like when I pull out my phone, I kind of like I try to like, you know, or I give it like a quick little like flash glance at it.
I can't tell you how many times I get the complaint after the movie's over. Mm-hmm. Somebody was on their cell phone and it disturbed me. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at the customers and I'm like, did you guys say... This is the first thing I say to them. I was like, well, did you come out and say anything to anybody? Mm-hmm. No. Guys, if there's an issue, you got to come out and say something.
Yeah, no, I mean, that
you know what I mean? Like, I have an usher that goes in there, mm-hmm. but he goes in there twice. Mm-hmm. Okay? And if he doesn't see anything like that, what do you want me to do? You need to come out and say something. Yeah. And I tell that to everybody. If you go to the movies, and anybody that listens to this podcast, if you go to the movies, guess what? Get some balls, come out of the theater, and say something. Okay? Not every black person is going to pull out a gun and shoot you. That's where... See, that's the thing that pisses me off more, is when these people are like... They pretty much are racist, because they're like sitting there going, well, I'm afraid that there's certain people in there. I'm like, just come out and say that it's black people, if that's what you want to say. Like, just say it, okay? I understand what you're trying to say, but stop being racist. Not every person's going to shoot up the place. You'll be fine. You just need to come out and say something. And that's what really annoys me about people. So these Latinos, let's get back to that. Mm-hmm. I took them, they're sitting there, we took them out of the theater, and they're continuing, you guys are racist, you guys are racist. And the other ones are speaking Spanish or whatever, and pretty much calling us racist and that too. And I'm like, guys, I understand where you're coming from. And by the way, this is a group of 8, by the way. I'm like, I understand what you guys are doing. I get it. But we gave you a big enough chance. So you need to go. You're racist. And I'm like, guys, out or I'm calling security. Now, go up to the box office and I will give you a refund. You will get a refund from the other manager, like he said he would. Now, go or I'm calling security. You know, and they walk up there. Oh, you're racist. They call the other manager racist. And this kid doesn't even have a racist bone in his body. Nicest kid I've ever met in my whole entire life. Okay, he lets my boss walk all over him. That's how nice this kid is. So I'm sitting there going, nice try. Yeah. So this past weekend, get this lady who is having a party, and I walked in when the party was already going on. I actually didn't handle the party. I handled the payment of the party. So, and this is the kind of stuff that always just like really pisses me off, because this lady sits there and starts and says, well, I didn't pay for 10 trays. I paid for 8. Or not paid for 8, but that's how many I got. I looked at her and I'm like, ma'am, you got 10 trays. I saw him give you 10 trays. I saw him put 10 trays on the thing. You took all 10. As a matter of fact, you had 11, but we're not charging you for that one because you said you dropped the tray. Fine. Just 10 trays. Mm-hmm. She got pissed because I charged her the right amount. And then here's the kicker about the whole thing. Before I even say anything. When we did inventory that night, the cup, the box that stuff gets put in, and the bag were even. Mm-hmm. So you are saying that you didn't get 10 trays, yet we're even because I rang you up right. Get the fuck out of here. Mm-hmm. So here's what happens. This lady calls back on Sunday, calls for me specifically. Mm-hmm. And she just sits there and rants and raves. You're an asshole. You shouldn't have charged me. You're racist. You don't do anything. Like, you shouldn't even be a manager. Mike's racist too. He did do some good things, but he's a racist too. And you know what? I'm never going to come back there again. Me and my husband make $200,000 and blah, blah, blah. So when she got done, I was like, you have a nice day, ma'am. And just hung up the phone. I'm not going to play their game. I'm not playing anybody's game here. Yeah. Okay? She calls back the next day and complains to that nice manager that was a racist the weekend before. And now I'm just the racist, and Mike was fine. And I'm just sitting there going, whatever. I'm like, I hope she calls Tony so I can just ram it down her throat, because I'm gonna be like, because I put a note on the board. I put a note on the board just in case this bitch would call back again. And I said, if she calls back again, you tell her that she can talk to Tony, who was my boss, and he will handle it that way, because I'm done handling this situation. Mm-hmm. And I barely had this situation. I barely even said anything to this lady. And I'm just sitting there going, like, literally I put up on Facebook, I think I said, is this going to happen every single weekend? Like, seriously. And I just feel like people these days have become not only ignorant, but cheap. Like, they're going to try any way to get out of paying for certain things. They're going to use the race card against you. Like, God, I'm colorblind. I don't give a shit if you're white, black, Asian, you're alien with green skin. If you're doing something wrong, I'm going to comment. If you're not paying for what you're doing, you're going to pay for it. And B and C, if you don't want to do any of those, I'll have the police arrest you.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting there like, this has got to stop. Like, stop trying to be racist. Stop trying to get out of things, guys.
Yeah. Have some fucking accountability for your actions.
Have your accountability. Like, you have like kids sitting right here, and clearly you're trying to do something, okay? But because you didn't get your way, now you're gonna whine about it. I don't care. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care who you are. If you were a white person, I would do the exact same thing to you. If you were a Latino person, I would do the exact same thing to you. Asian. If we can go down the list of every single race, and I will tell you that's what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And, it's ridiculous. And I'm just sitting there going, is this really what I'm getting paid for? Like, yeah. Like, seriously. And, I don't know. And I guess, like, we don't usually get that much, so it's kind of weird that we're all of a sudden getting like all these stupid people all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. I think that
summer.
It's just the summer. Like during the winter and the school year, like I don't get any of these customers. I don't get any of these stupid people. I get just normal people that are like, yeah, I did this wrong, whatever. Or I get the normal, well, you're being racist because my kids can't come in here. And I turn and look at them and I'm like, guys, this policy's been in place for 10 years. If that's being a racist policy, then I'm being racist to white people because I kick out 2 times more white people than I do black people. So, if you want to call me a racist, go right ahead. Because, guess what? I'm a racist to my own race then. Sorry. All
right, so
that's my bitching for the day.
That's Paul's bitch. Yeah. The one thing I kind of like through the internet being the internet, or Facebook being Facebook, my 7th grade teacher got a hold of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because it's sort of like I guess because there's a bunch of my friends have been talking online and we've been like organizing. Because remember, like I went to like a unofficial
mini class reunion,
and stuff like that. So I had and it's funny because it's sort of like, I mean, you of course you remember 7th grade, but you don't really remember. Sometimes, I guess maybe since I was a kid or my priorities were all different, whatever, like, I don't remember everything, and he's like, oh, and he's mentioning students like, oh, have you heard from this person? Have heard, and I'm like, yeah, I spoke to this person and, they're an asshole. I spoke to this person. They're doing okay. They moved down here or they moved over there. And, and oh, I know what's going on with these people, but they're not on Facebook or anything like that. So then, he had brought up like a fucking memory that I totally forgot. Now, when I was a kid, and I mean, I goof on the show and I say I'm a nerd. Mm-hmm. But when I was a kid, I was a genuine fucking nerd. Like, like as in, like, I was doing okay in school. And, like when I was in 8th grade, I had taken the exams to get into like the Catholic high schools. And in New York City, like there's the 3. All right, so so I take I believe they're called the co-ops. I could be wrong, but I take the test to get into Catholic high school. Xavier High School was one of the better known, they have a great reputation. So then so I put Xavier second on the list because you put the school that you want to go to in order. And Xavier is the kind of school where like they never accept you if you put them number 2 on your list. Because like if we're not your first choice, then fuck you. We don't want you here.
Right.
Then I had put LaSalle Academy. Now LaSalle was a school that my brother went to, and I was sort of like, well, if I go to this school, I'll have, you know, I'll be coming in under my brother's reputation, and my brother had a good reputation in this school, you know, as in, you know, he was doing good in grades, it was National Honor Society, all this other stuff. And then the last one was in the Bronx, and it was like my dad's old high school, and I forgot exactly what. I don't know if it was Rice or Saint something or other, whatever. My third choice was, you know, I had no other choice. I'll just choose the school my dad went to. So, right. So I go and I take the co-ops, and me being the nerd that I am, and I'm not, may lightning strike me if I'm fucking lying. I got ranked in the nationwide 99th percentile, meaning that of the entire nation, only 1% of the people got better than me. You know, did better than me on the exam. So, like, LaSalle Academy offered me a scholarship, which I ended up not taking. Xavier just accepted me in general. Now, not a scholarship, but Xavier, you know, and that was like the biggest surprise, like, that I put them second on my list and they accepted me. Now, I just bring that up because that's to show you what kind of a nerd I am. When I was in 7th grade, and my teacher brought this up, and it just sort of like, when I was in 7th grade, he had spent like 45 minutes on the phone with some other teacher, whatever, where I was just going to straight up skip 8th grade, and I was going to go right to high school from 7th grade to this place called Fordham Prep in the Bronx. And once again, as a kid, I mean, you know, it would have been, you know, 12 years old going to fucking, you know, going all the way from downtown Manhattan to the Bronx. You know, not that it would have been impossible, but, you know, it would have been quite a fucking trek every day. But it's just one of those deals where, like, when I was talking to my teacher, and I don't know if I hope, I mean, if he's watching, well, I guess he's been enough on my page enough where he knows I curse and I'm an atheist and everything like that. But you know, I kind of wonder, like, what if I took those paths? Like, what if I went to Fordham Prep? Like, I skipped 8th grade, I took Fordham Prep. What if I went to LaSalle Academy, where, like, my brother had, you know, just graduated? So the good thing is I wouldn't be there to cramp his style, but, you know, I would have come in under his reputation. You know, I mean, there's no way I was going to go to Xavier because Xavier was way too expensive. You know, because they accepted me, but we would have to pay. Right. LaSalle, at least LaSalle was a fucking LaSalle was a it would have been a scholarship. But then I had, like, you know, then I ended up going to Brooklyn Tech, which was like probably, you know, that's like the specialized high schools where, like, we were number 3. You know, they got Bronx Science, which was and it's funny because when you watch for those people who watch, if you watch like Superman Homecoming, that school, and I read an article about it because it was I'm on like my school's Facebook page. They kind of based the Peter Parker's school, Midtown High School, after Brooklyn Technical High School, my old high school. So then I kind of wonder, I'm like, man, well, you know what, you know, my life would be different, you know, but then again, like, I was in corrections, you know, my brother was a cop, you know, so it was like we kind of went the same path.
So this is being an episode of This Is Your Life, Chris?
Yeah, this is like my life. Like, I wonder what other fucking decisions I would have made that would have fucking changed my life, where I wouldn't be in the fucking situation that I am now. And like I said, you know, and it's not like, you know, yes, I have my daughter and I got to count my blessings for what I have and stuff like that. But I wonder, like, it's one of those deals where, like, I sit back and I go, what if I was able to fucking get, you know, what if I was able to go to a better school and get a better education and maybe go finish college and stuff like that? And it's sort of like, it just makes me, and it's funny, and all of this was because my fucking 7th grade teacher reached out to me.
Yeah,
like, it's stuff I haven't thought about in years, you know. And it's like, man, I remember, you know, I had all these fucking opportunities in front of me, and, you know, I don't want to say I flushed them down the toilet or whatever, but, you know, the path that fucking life kind of shoved in front of me, I ended up fucking, you know, and I mean, Brooklyn Tech was a good school, you know, but it was the smartest of the fucking hoodlums.
Right.
And, you know, and you know, there's kids there smoking weed all the time, you know, and stuff like that. And, you know, I never, you know, before, you know, I went to Catholic school. There was no such thing. You know, when you skip the class, you know, we called it hooky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, ooh, I'm not going to do any hooky or whatever. And it's sort of like, you know, you go to school and you got these kids that just don't give a fuck. Oh, yeah, just skip class and stuff like that. And it was sort of, I mean, don't be wrong. You make your decisions and you have to live with them. But, I wonder what my life would be if I wasn't, I wouldn't be doing this podcast. I don't know, maybe I wouldn't be a Rochester.
I'm sure that there would be some version of it.
And it's like, it's not that I hate Rochester. It's just, I wonder where I would be in my life if the different decisions were made. And I guess, can't cry over spilled milk. But, that was like, and all this, like I said, all this just came flooding back because my 7th grade teacher got.
I will tell you this: don't go to Virginia. I learned something. We had an employee transfer in from she worked at a theater in Virginia. Mm-hmm. They put a property tax on your car. You have to pay like $1,000 every year
on your car.
On your car,
property tax. Fuck that.
Yeah. Like I could see, like honestly, like you want to give yourself an excuse why not to buy a car. Oh, I'm not paying no property tax of $1,000.
Yeah, but it's like I guess we're spoiled by New York, where like things are so expensive up here.
Well, and like,
because notice like, but in my part of my job is you're talking to people and you're like, okay, and they go, oh, I live here and such, and you're like, what's your mortgage? And you ask them what their mortgage rate is or whatever, and they go, oh, I pay $800 or something like that,
Right.
And like you do the math and you kind of like they live in a fucking nice house and they pay $800 a month. I was paying $1,700 and I live in a fucking shoebox that was connected on both sides in a bad fucking neighborhood.
My brother right now is paying like, I'm not gonna say what the exact amount, but he's paying over $1,000 a month for his house, and I just sit there and I go, I'm like I couldn't do that. Like there's no way that I could pay for that with the jobs that I have.
Yeah.
Like that would be like my whole paycheck for the whole month, and Kelsey would have to be like, she would have to go out and get a really good paying job to pay for the rest, because there's no way that I could pay for that. Now I could afford maybe $700 or $800 and have a little bit left over every month, but we'd still be struggling. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like it's one of those deals we're spoiled by, not spoiled, we're soured by New York. By everything being so expensive up here, because you talk to people and they're like, "What's your mortgage?" Oh, $700. $700. People pay that in rent in New York. And depending on the situation, I mean, like someone's like, "Oh, you're only paying $700." That's a steal.
Well, and then that's the thing. Like I get people that will come from New York City that their normal thing is they pay like, even for a matinee, they pay like $15, $20 for a movie ticket, and they come up here and they're like, how much do you pay for matinee? $8? Holy shit! I'm in the money here. Holy shit! I get people on Tuesdays that will come in because it's discount day, obviously, and everybody's like floods the theater, and they're like, holy shit! It's this much money? Oh my god! I got to come on Tuesdays now. And I'm just sitting there going, used to be $4, but and even what was I gonna say? The customers that usually come on a regular basis are like, yeah, it used to be $4. Can you go back to that, please? And it kills me. It still kills me because like it's like, for example, I've heard, and I gotta look it up. I'm really gonna look it up while we're doing this because I really want to know. Like the AMC out here, I believe, is $15 on the weekend to get a seat, and if that's what it is, well. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And here's the thing that kills me. It's like, okay, so you're gonna pay $15, but then you're gonna pay $15, but yet it's $15 for the IMAX. Wouldn't you want to save that and get yourself something a lot better? Like I don't understand. I really don't.
Yeah, that's sort of. I'm a little distracted because I'm trying to see, because it's funny, like all these movies, I've been hitting the theater every fucking week, and I'm trying to remember what.
Yes, he has.
Well, it's sort of trying to just enjoy what I have or whatever. But I'm trying to remember what movie came out before Spider-Man. Like I saw Spider-Man recently, and I'm trying to remember what came out like June the 30th that I was sort of.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's $12.49 for an adult. This is luxury seating, by the way. $12.49, $9.49 for children, and $10.99 for senior.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
like, well, it was Baby Driver. That's what I saw. I was trying to remember what the hell did I see before Spider-Man, and that was, I don't know.
Was that a good movie or? No. Okay.
So are we at the half point yet?
We are at 30 minutes, sir.
We're at 30 minutes but we had a little bit before then. Well, how was your 4th of July? How was
my 4th of July?
Yeah.
What did I do on 4th of July? Oh, I came home, pretty much recorded a live podcast with Tsunami people, and just relaxed after work, basically. Here's the funny story. So I work, for those of you that don't listen to this on a regular basis, I work 2 jobs on Tuesdays. So I go from one job, maybe get an hour or 2 hours in between, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, time to go to the other job. And there's a lot of Mountain Dew involved. There might be an energy drink involved as well, but I get through it. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like July 4th comes on a day where it's a Tuesday. So that means if I keep my schedule the way it is for this week, I'm going to fuck myself over and I'm going to have to work both on the day on July 4th. Now, here's the thing. Both jobs paid time and a half, so it didn't really matter. But I was just like, no, it's a holiday. I don't want to do that. If it fell on any other day, fine, I'll work it. I don't give a shit. But it fell on a Tuesday. I'm like, fuck no. Fuck no, I'm not doing this. I said, no, I was like, I'm working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I want fucking Tuesday off. He looks at me, he's like, yeah, I gave you Tuesday off. I was like, thank you, because I don't want to work that. Also, speaking of the Discount Tuesday, when there's a holiday that falls on that Discount Tuesday, they don't do the discount. Oh. So I especially when I heard that, I was like, I'm good.
I'm not gonna deal with those customers.
Nope, I'm not fucking dealing with this shit. And there were people that bitched too about it. There were some mean people I heard that night. I was like, thank God I took off for that. I'm like, I didn't want to deal with that because I knew there was gonna be some fucking people being like, well, it's Tuesday, so why isn't it fucking discounted? It's a holiday. Do you read the sign online that says discounted on Tuesdays unless it's a special event, it starts on Tuesday, or it's a holiday. That's why, you come in, sometimes you'll see a sign up that says, let's say, like Baby Driver's the example. Like, Baby Driver started on a Wednesday, but we had pre-shows of it on Tuesday. So we had to sell them for regular price because the movie studio, they want their money.
Yeah, and that's a special event.
And there again, and that's another reason too. People don't understand that too. Like, I'll hear about, oh, why are you charging me for a free loyalty pass? Because the studio is making me do that. Do you think I want to charge you $1.50 for a free ticket? No. But I'm giving you this opportunity to pay it cheaper because guess what? They are giving you that opportunity. We weren't even, at one point, they weren't even letting us use loyalty on no pass features. No pass features are movies like Star Wars, the big ones, like Spiderman is one of them, where they sit there and they go, in the first 10 days, you can't give out passes for it.
Oh, okay.
So if we use certain passes, it doesn't cover it.
You got it.
So, it is what it is. But I just was like, no, I'm not doing that. The Kelsey and Sophia went to the fireworks. I was here by myself. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, I was kind of just chilling. 4th of July. I hung out with Jen.
I noticed.
We were goofing.
Wait. You hung out with Jen and another girl. And I was sitting there going, threesome? What's going on?
No, yeah, there's another Jen that hangs out with the Jen, so we were just kind of just hanging out.
Was the other Jen single?
Oh, she's single and she's very pretty.
But why? Wait, stop. Stop. Why did we not even try for the phone number?
Why? Because I think she's seeing someone in Texas or some shit like that. So,
can I indicate to you something? This isn't fucking Texas.
Okay, I'm not.
This is Rochester, New York.
I'm not the one. Apparently, I'm not the one. I'm not the. But so
did she try to set you up with her?
No.
Oh, okay.
So there, so that was, but that's like that. But we were hanging out, and then because we hung out the night before, we went to out here in Rochester. Well, one of the suburbs of out there is a place called Brockport. So we went out to Brockport to see the fireworks out there Monday.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you. I mean, it's funny because you go to certain parts of Brockport which are nice, but it's sort of like it looks like small town. And you're like,
small
you drive
town.
to the area, but I'm saying you drive to the area and you're like, this is why Trump won. Because what I'm saying, like you drive to the area and like these are but I'm saying it's not, and I'm not saying it looks beat up or old. It looks like a small town, and it's like these are not people that are open minded. If you want to live to a place where the barbershop is opened, only from like noon to 6 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You know, like places like neighborhoods, like, you know, the post, the post office closes and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless it's a fucking holiday, you know, the post office should be open all day, every day. You know, when you live in these small towns, you know that, you know, and the funny thing is, like, Brockport, it's not too far from Rochester. I mean, it's a relatively short drive, but like you drive through the area, and I'm like, and you know this because once again, we're spoiled, or we're soiled, or we're spoiled, or whatever, by living in either New York and living in Rochester, that's a city in New York State, because, you know, we kind of forget the rest of the fucking world. And when you leave that city bubble and you drive through fucking country areas, you're like, oh, that's why Trump won. You know, like, you know, it's sort of, you know, these. You know, and I got nothing bad against, because when we went to Brockport, we went to a friend's, one of Jen's friend's house, and I say Jen's friend. I mean, the girl's nice to me also, but, you know, it's just, you know, I forget. You know, I'm so spoiled by living in a city, or my mentality is so city driven that I forget that there are small towns or people with small town mentalities that you're sort of like, oh yeah, that's right. I had a feeling there's something else I wanted to talk about the first half of the show, but I guess we've already hit the halfway mark.
Yeah, we're at 36 minutes here. I'm about to be 37. So.
We'll be back with more dick and fart jokes.
Hopefully.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc. 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this movie.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little history all popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was.
How did you watch this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-n-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers, One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
And we're back. All right, Paul, so let's I could spend the next half an hour talking about Spider-Man Homecoming, but let's just put that on the back burner right now. I did go see Baby Driver. I was trying to remember what the movie was that I went to go see beforehand. And also, well, kind of nerdy news, and I don't know if we mentioned this the last episode, you got your pass for Comic-Con.
I did.
So
I have to deal with this motherfucker for like 4 days.
4 days. Me and Paul are going to be living
See, what he
together.
doesn't understand is Sunday, we're going to be driving home because I have to be to work at 6 a.m. the next day. So his ass is going to have to... I don't think anything really...
I'll put you on a megabus, motherfucker.
I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, nothing really big happens on Sunday at New York Comic Con.
Sleep in the fucking car, man.
No, fuck you. I'm not doing
I'm driving.
it.
You'll sleep in the fucking car.
No.
I'm not going to
Your
miss
ass,
Comic-Con.
listen to me. Your ass, we're going to be leaving at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm going to be back
For what?
here.
To be back by 8?
Yeah.
We can leave by midnight, and I'll have you to work at 6.
Fuck no.
Because Comic-Con, let me see, it ends like at 6 or so. And,
Nothing happens on Sunday. Come on.
But I guess I liked last year because last year, like, some of my high school buddies came out. Because for those who watch, like, the Stranger Vlogs, I did a video where, like, the zombie Mario guy.
Yeah.
That's a guy I went to high school with, and then he had another friend of ours only had Sunday passes because that's all they can get. So we had another high school buddy. So I enjoyed Sunday because I was sort of like with my friends.
Yeah, but the year before, I swear, like Sunday was just kind of like a
Sundays is always a blah fucking day. But I mean, I love Comic-Con so much that I don't want to. You'll sleep in the car. Fuck that.
No, that's not what's gonna happen. Just letting you know right now, because like I'm gonna be sitting there being like, all right,
calling out Monday morning or whatever.
Like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. Peace. Come back, Rochester.
Let me see. So you got your press pass for Comic-Con, so that's pretty fucking cool. So when I would kind of like or start getting stuff organized, because when you become a person that gets a press pass, you get a million fucking emails. Like
I haven't been getting
the
really
email
anything.
account that I use gets fucking, maybe it's because I signed up for shit and it's like that's my email that I use for stuff like that. But like and then the funny thing is that there's even lesser Comic-Cons that are run by Reed Pop will kind of like we'll give you a free press pass, but it's funny because it's like free press pass, but like out in Minneapolis, and
do they run they don't run Anime NYC, do they?
I don't know. They might. I don't look at the emails like that hard because it's sort of like I know I'm busy and shit like that.
Yeah.
But it's funny. But I'm just saying is like what I'm just naming a random city like Minneapolis, and like you could get a press pass for Minneapolis. I'm like, yeah, but then I have to fucking pay to go to Minneapolis. Why would I go to a lesser con when I could just go to New York Comic Con?
Right.
But
Exactly.
I mean, I guess if there was something that I really wanted to see or do, but I mean, I just don't have the disposable income. All right, so let's talk about movies. Went to go see Baby Driver from Edgar Wright, the guy who gave us Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, At the World's End. What can I say? He was planning to do the failed Ant-Man movie that he never even got a chance to start because he wanted to do his own standalone movie, and Marvel said, no, fuck you, you're gonna
do what I tell you.
Yeah, you're gonna do what we tell you because you're our bitch. And then he's like, oh, nobody's bitch. And then he goes and makes a shitty movie. Because it's not okay. I liked Hot Fuzz. I liked Shaun of the Dead. I never saw At the World's End, and I was not a fan of Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And my thing is, I think just that's a different kind of movie. It wasn't meant for me. I hate like the guy who starred in it. What's his face? The kid from Arrested Development, from Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and he was like in Superbad. He always played.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, Jen joined. Hi, Jen. And
He was bad mouthing you.
No, I wasn't. I was not bad mouthing anyone. I was talking about.
He wants to date your friend.
Well, that's no. Well, not that I. What I'm just saying is that was never an option. The other girl is like her. She's cute, and I don't exist in her world. Let's just fucking be real here.
Just move on. I just wanted to.
See now, Jen. Now you starting shit.
Yes, I'm being an ass. Okay, you'll have to watch back to see what he said.
She's like, what? No. So what was I gonna say? So we went to all right. So I went to go see Baby Driver, but like I said, I didn't like Scott Pilgrim versus the World because like the guy the star of the movie is such a fucking like a punk or whatever. Oh, I think I can guess. Yeah, okay. So she figured it out. So there's Scott Pilgrim versus the World sucked. Not that it sucked. I mean, it was what it was, but I hate characters that are like wimpy washy, kind of like, ooh, you know. I mean, yeah, he kind of becomes a little bit of a badass, but you know, and that's exactly what. Oh, okay. So I go to see Baby Driver,
right,
and I didn't enjoy it. It was very stylized. It was very, you know, because it's all about like these really intricate car chases where, you know, the guy fucking has the magical powers of knowing exactly where everything is, and he doesn't crash into people, or he doesn't, you know, he could skid backwards going down an alleyway but not kill anybody because, you know. And it's one thing, like, okay, like if you're a driver and you have a lot of things planned and you have like a heightened sense of whatever, and you kind of have like a talent and you can see all this shit, but I was not a big fan of it. And then you got what's his face? Then it had Jamie Foxx and John Hamm, and I gotta say, you know, Jamie Foxx was okay in it. Then they made like Jamie Foxx is basically the bad guy in the movie. And well, yeah. Then there's another little twist that I won't spoil it, but Jamie Foxx is, I guess you could say, the first bad guy in the movie. And then it's like, but then like he's such a horrible person. Like if you're a criminal, why would you ever deal with someone like that? You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck how good you are if you're that much of a fucking prick. And like I say, it was very stylized. It was very much like I think Edgar Wright wanted to make kind of like a Quentin Tarantino movie. And it was like, Edgar Wright, make a fucking Edgar Wright movie. Give me Nick Frost and what's his face, you know, from Shaun of the Dead, you know, the thinner one. You know, give me those guys. Give me Simon Pegg and Nick Frost and goof on the genre. Don't, you know, stop, you know. I didn't like Baby Driver. And it kind of reminds me of Scott Pilgrim versus the World because the character is kind of like this wishy-washy kind of little pussy fucking character. Let me see, what else?
By the way, I'm petting my cat because if I don't, he will try to jump on here and disturb the podcast. So.
They announced the season 3 of Rick and Morty, or at least I think they kind of solidified a date.
They solidified a date because people were like, "Is it the date? Is it not the date?"
And you know, the funny thing is that like, I guess there was a lot of season 2 there were a lot of episodes in season 2 that I didn't see yet, and I say that because I saw some of them on Sunday, and I was like, because I was on my phone, and it's so weird. There's a lot of streaming. A lot of people are streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. Like, just totally bootleg illegal streams of TV shows.
Well,
like, the two big ones that I noticed right now is Rick and Morty and Futurama. And, of course, there's other ones I've seen. Ones of, like, you know, Courage the Cowardly Dog and what's the one? Happiness Falls and, you know, Steven Universe or Steven versus the Universe or whatever the fuck that show's called. But there is a bunch of streams online. So there was a Rick and Morty stream, so I kind of got caught into it, and I'm like, wow, I never saw this one. And then they showed like another episode, and it was another episode I didn't see, and I'm like, wow, I didn't see this one, you know. And so like, you know, like I never saw the Bird Person episode. What's the other one I've never seen? I never saw the one where there's a bunch of like, you know, there's a bunch of clones, and then he tries to think of the perfect. The girl becomes like a goddess and her head's spinning around.
Yeah.
I never saw those episodes, so I kind of like got caught in.
Did you ever see the first episode of season 3 that they
the April Fool's one?
Yeah,
no, the Szechuan chicken sauce. Yes. Yeah, that's that one was fucking.
I know. My favorite thing is McDonald's actually responding to that and be like, "We see you, Rick and Morty." and here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's going to be the live action Mulan movie next year, so everybody's like, Mulan sauce.
Yeah. Morty. Szechuan sauce, Morty.
So don't ever do that again. Your voice is terrible.
Morty. All right, so let's talk about Spider-Man Homecoming. But you didn't get a chance to see it. I guess we might as well just say right now spoilers if you're gonna continue to listen. Because I don't think I could talk about the movie without. I can't talk about how awesome the movie
there's a lot of spoilers out online that I think a lot of people have seen. Like, for example, there's no Uncle Ben in this one. There's no...
And that's what we were promised. There was no Uncle Ben, no origin story. Yes, they kind of hint to Uncle Ben dying. They hint to the radioactive spider, but there was no fucking flashback. There was no, you know... Thank God. Thank goodness, even if it's like, okay, here's a 15, second fucking flashback or something. No, no CGI spider crawling up Tom Holland's neck or anything like that. Thank God.
By the way, did you see the picture I put up? Actually, no, that's right. You shared it. Where Michael Keaton's like, so did you know I played Batman? And he's like, oh, I prefer Ben Affleck. And he's like,
I prefer Tobey
I
Maguire.
prefer Tobey Maguire. I was like, yes, that's exactly what I
And
said.
that scene, and once again, we're gonna get into spoilers, people. So, yeah, all right. Let me not jump right to those parts. Let's kind of go into the beginning. All right. So you kind of have the fat Filipino friend who's not really in actual. He's more of a character in the Miles Morales Spider-Man, but they kind of used him in this movie to be Spider-Man's friend. That character exists, or the character like him exists in the comics, but he's Miles Morales, is the Black Dominican Spider-Man in the movie. There's sort of a reference to Miles Morales, because remember, the rumor was a long time ago that they were going to get what's his face from Community, the
Gambino,
Childish Gambino. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank.
Wasn't he in the movie?
He's in the movie.
Okay,
but he's not playing Miles Morales.
Right.
But he has this throwaway comment where he goes, "Oh, my nephew lives in this town," and I guess in the Miles Morales character, his uncle is the bad guy.
Right.
So, he's Miles Morales' uncle, and then he goes, "Oh, my nephew lives in this city," and it sort of makes me wonder, like, who has the rights to Miles Morales? Because technically, if they wanted to, since Marvel made this movie, and Sony's not going to give up the rights. They're going to go and they're going to try to put a Venom in the movie. They're going to try to do a Sinister Six movie. They're going to try,
they did say that this Spider-Man is in that universe. So.
Yeah, and so this Spider-Man is in that universe. But with that being said, if Marvel kind of puts that little hint out there that there could be a Miles Morales character, and once again, it could be a baby, it could be a grown fucking man. If they have a Miles Morales character, what's not to say Marvel, after like Infinity War, when they want to start everything anew, like they can give us the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Like, okay, Sony has Peter Parker, and we can't touch that, but fuck you, we're gonna have Miles Morales. I mean, maybe they'll play nice with Sony and like have like Tom Holland and stuff like that. But if they really wanted to, because I guess the rumor is after like Infinity War, like all the main characters that we know are not going to be there anymore. No more Thor, no more Iron Man, no more Hulk, no more. And not that they won't have cameos and kind of have like the way Iron Man was in this movie, where Iron Man, he's in it, but he's not a star. He's a co-star. He's in the movie probably a combined 10 to 15 minutes. So where, they can kind of retire the old characters and bring in a whole new cast of new ones. So I'm seeing this as a play that Marvel's probably saying, you know what, fuck you. All right, you want to keep Peter Parker? Fine, yeah, keep Peter Parker. We're gonna get us a black Spider-Man, and do what the fuck we want with it.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I think that Sony, if they're going to be intelligent about this, and they were intelligent enough to give Marvel the rights to actually make this Spider-Man movie, I think that they will probably sit there and be like, okay, well, we're gonna let you do a little bit more with some of this stuff, because you know what? We fucked up. We fucked up, and we need to fix this. And, let me tell you something. Like, they started fucking this shit up when it was in the original trilogy in number 3, when they pushed Sam Raimi to put Venom in the movie and rush that fucking shit out. Because that's the story. Like, he sits there to this day, and he goes, if I wasn't rushed, and I wasn't forced to put a character in there that I didn't want to put in there in the first place just yet, then this would have turned out a lot better. And because originally it was supposed to be just the Sandman, from what I heard in one interview. But, it goes all the way back to, and that's what makes me sour, because of, like, Tobey Maguire got fucked on this. Both him, Tobey Maguire got fucked, what's his name? Sam Raimi got fucked, and then it was, what's her name, too, that played Mary Jane? Kristen Dunst. I mean, don't get me wrong. After the third one, I was kind of like, yeah, I could go without Kristen Dunst now. But there again, that was the terrible writing that was in this fucking movie. Like, I'm sitting there like, why is this girl bitching through the whole fucking movie?
Yeah, that movie. Yeah, that one.
I
was so bad, and it just because I love 2. I mean, we've said it a million times on the show. I love 2, and 2 was such a great movie. But then again, you gotta reboot Spider-Man, because Tobey Maguire is like fucking 40 years old now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the whole charm of Peter Parker is he's a kid or he's relatively young. He doesn't have money. He has to fucking do shit. I mean, okay, yeah, he has Tony Stark in this one where Tony Stark is giving him shit. And I think like they played it well enough where they don't have to have Tony Stark in part 2 because Tony Stark is like, all right, now you got to go do your own fucking thing, and it's not that they left on bad terms.
I do want one spoiler real quick. What? Does he get the suit back?
Does he get the suit? Yeah, he gets the suit, but they don't really. And I guess spoilers. By the time he gets the suit back, it's the end of the movie,
right?
And I guess okay, and here we go, super duper spoilers. The last 3 seconds of the movie, he gets the suit back from Tony Stark. He puts it on. Like first, and the funny thing is, it's when you look at the parallels. When Tony Stark first gives him like the suit that he gives him, it's in this beautiful fucking metal box, and you kind of like even in the promos you see like Happy Hogan's carrying it, this big fucking thing.
Right.
By the time he gets the suit back a second time, it's in a brown paper bag. And Tony Stark's signing like do good kid or whatever, and for TS or whatever. So he puts it on. There's once again super duper spoilers, people. He puts on the suit and he's happy to put it on, and he's looking himself in the mirror, and Aunt May walks in, and like she sees him and she goes, "What the fuck?" And like right before she said "fuck," the movie ends, and the fucking theater went nuts. Oh my god! I gotta say, that was, and because I believe it was PG-13, so they were able. She didn't say "fuck." But she's like, "What the fuck?" And and Marissa Tomei can pull off that, that Brooklyn Italian sort of thing. Well, she's in Queens, but the New York Italian, where through the whole movie she's usually goofy, and that's and sweet and nice or whatever. She's not mean or whatever, but the ghetto Italian, whatever the Goomba comes out when she's like, "What the fuck?" and it cuts. So that's like how the movie ends. Now what happens is, when he gets the suit from Tony, and this is spoiled in the commercials, he has all these crazy upgrades, and right. He can do shit. And like actually, like the friend helps him hack the suit to take all the regulations off, because like he goes, "Oh, this training wheels protocol." Like, what the fuck is and he tells his friend, "Take it off." So then once he takes it off, he becomes like Iron Man. The fucking AI talks to him. He has 243 different combinations of webs. He has like shock webs and grenade webs and all types of he has a instant kill mode, and he goes, "Would you like me to initiate instant kill mode?" And one part accidentally happens and his eyes turn red and like he looks like, no, turn off instant kill mode.
That's cool.
Oh god. There's one more. Then he goes into intimidation mode, and that comes the part where Childish Gambino's in the movie, where he goes, "Let me do the AI who the voice of the AI is Jennifer Connelly, which is she was technically she wasn't in the first Hulk movie. She was in the Hulk movie that we don't recognize anymore, the Ang Lee one."
That was the first Hulk one, but continue.
Yeah, I'm saying that was the first one, but that one is not part of this universe. It's the it's the other one that's part of this universe, and not so she's in it, but I guess she's also married to Paul Bettany, the guy who plays the Vision. So it's kind of funny because Paul Bettany was the voice of Jarvis. She's the voice of the female AI, and you would think it would be the AI the other female AI that they have like in Avengers: Age of Ultron. But that one kind of has like an Irish accent. But it's funny that they're married. He's the voice of Jarvis. She's the voice of the female AI that Spider-Man has. So I think, and they don't say it because by the time he puts the suit on, we don't know. I think Tony Stark gives him the suit back, but with like no extra tech. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he gave him the suit with the tech. Tom Holland, Peter Parker fucks with it to the point where he was doing all this shit. And then Tony Stark goes, "Oh, you fucking hacked my shit. Well, I'm gonna give you the suit." And it probably has like a couple of things that he can do better than Peter Parker, whatever. But I think when he gives him the suit back, it kind of puts him back to zero, where it probably has no extra shit in it, no AI or whatever.
We'll see.
Yeah, was I gonna say? They had a new love interest, and I say new because I guess this is a character in the book. He's in love with this girl named Liz. Once again, they brought in the Filipino friend. Marissa Tomei playing the aunt was great. Now there's this character in the movie. Once again, I guess you want to say spoilers, whose name is Michelle, but at the end of the movie she goes, "Oh, my friends call me MJ." And it's that girl in the commercial who looks like she's constipated all the time, like, "You guys are stupid." And I'm like, and I guess apparently she's like a pop singer or like a Nickelodeon star or something like that. Like,
you're talking about God, what is her name?
No, her name is Zendaya.
Yes. Yeah. No, she was on Disney. She had a Disney show.
She had a Disney show, and I'm like, I have no idea who the fuck this chick is, but apparently, like, she's cute in real life, because I saw, like, I don't know if she's maybe a kid, I don't know, I sound like a dirty old man.
No,
but I'm saying
she's over 18.
So I'm saying she's cute, but, it's funny that, like, who the fuck is this chick? And I'm, Zendaya, who the fuck is Zendaya? This is how unhip I am. But she's in the movie, and I kind of I didn't like her character in the movie, because she's kind of like, she's always kind of like being like, she always has something smart to say, but obviously, like, she has a crush on Peter Parker and stuff like that. And then, of course, he's going after the fucking hot chick, who is a light-skinned black girl. And then, spoilers. I mean, I guess if you come this far, is the daughter of the Vulture.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, like, when Peter Parker goes and knocks on the door, he opens it.
Yeah.
And for a split second, now he's going to take her to the homecoming dance. So for a split second, it's thinking, oh shit, Vulture's going to kidnap the girl that I asked to the homecoming dance and now whatever. And then, then it turns out like, oh, come in, son. Come in. And he's like, what the fuck? And then you realize, and then the mother comes out as Garcelle Bouvier. That she's an actress. She's very pretty. I mean, she's a little older now, so you can see that maybe her and Michael Keaton had a kid together. And of course, Michael Keaton's way too old. But I can't fucking stress how fucking awesome Michael Keaton is in this movie. Like, he's very, like, down to earth. He's he's always kind of played that down to earth kind of guy. I mean, even when he was fucking Batman, it was sort of like, how is this little scrawny little dinky fucking dude supposed to be Batman? And then, he puts on a suit and he becomes fucking badass. He plays these guys, him and his crew, if you want to say, he's not a crew, he's like a construction worker. He's a scrapper, he's like a scrapyard guy. After all the crazy shit that happens after Avengers 1, and I love how they tie all these movies together, he's like, oh, we're gonna make so much money scrapping all this metal or whatever. And then, like, they bring in this thing called damage control, which damage control is actually a thing from the comic books where it's people who clean up after superhero battles and shit like that. And I guess they kind of maybe insinuate that it's under S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever, but it's sort of like, big government organization in charge of, shit like this and trying to keep everything secret on the hush-hush. So he's like, I was supposed to make so much money scrapping all this stuff, and you guys just kicked me out or whatever. So that's like his motivation. So I think they kind of have a little bit of the tech left over. So with that tech, he builds the Vulture suit. They bring in a character from the comic books called the Tinkerer. The Tinkerer starts helping him build, like, weapons, and, like, that he ends up, like, building all these crazy, funky fucking guns and shit, because with the the alien tech that they kind of have, they use to kind of start their little empire, and then they use the alien tech they have to steal more alien tech, and then build all types of crazy laser guns and shit like that. So, and then that's when it becomes a thing, because then then like criminals start getting their fucking hands on it. Like, it's one thing, like, if they're robbing, if they're robbing S.H.I.E.L.D., okay, they're robbing S.H.I.E.L.D., it's bad, but it's not, but when you fucking give a street thug a fucking laser gun, that could shoot fucking, lasers through a building, all right, now we're gonna have a problem. So that's sort of like why Peter Parker has to step in and kind of stop him. And then, there's, and that scene, and that's what I wanted to mention, that scene where they're in the car and they're driving to Homecoming, and she goes, oh yeah, Dad, Peter Parker knows Spider-Man. And he goes, what? Oh, yeah, and he was with me in Washington, D.C., because there's a part where they all go to Washington, D.C., and she's in an elevator that almost crashes, and Spider-Man saves her. And she goes, yeah, and Spider-Man saved her. And he's like, oh, well, Peter Parker, weren't you scared of being in an elevator? He goes, I wasn't in the elevator, sir. So the Vulture starts piecing together Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and you kind of see him go from, like, goofy dad to fucking, like, I'm going to kill this motherfucker. And so, like, that scene, I have to say I fucking loved it so much. Once again, with the ending, they bring back Pepper Potts. That was a kind of a... Because remember, like, by the time we got to Civil War, like, they had broken up or whatever, because, he was supposed to get rid of all his fucking Iron Man suits, and he never got rid of his Iron Man suits. So, we see, what's-her-face, Gwyneth Paltrow. And
they must have paid her.
Yeah, they must have paid her big fucking money. So then, like, what happens is Tony Stark goes to Peter Parker and he's like, let's go have a press conference so we can show the world who. I don't think, because I've heard a couple different theories. One, it was kind of going to be like that Civil War scene where like Spider-Man takes off his mask and says he's Peter Parker. I honestly think it was just going to be, because then Tony Stark introduces him to a new suit. He goes, here's the new upgraded suit. And he goes, you put this on, we'll go to do a press conference. So some people saying, I think that's the more, like, I don't think, and then they were saying that, like, or maybe it could have been all fake, but then it turns out that it was a real press conference. And I don't think Tony Stark was going to blow up his spot. I think Tony Stark was going to say, here's Spider-Man, we're going to introduce, to the press, here's the guy that's going to be defending New York City or whatever. So they turn around and he offers Peter Parker the newer suit. And, he eventually gets the suit in the paper bag, but if you look at that newer suit, it's a little bit more reminiscent of the Miles Morales Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
So we've been hinted at that Miles Morales exists in this universe. We've been shown a suit that looks more of what Miles Morales would wear, and because some people saying, oh, it's the Iron Spider suit, which I guess it could be also. So I mean, it could go anywhere. I think they left it just enough ambiguous enough where it could be either the Iron Spider or Miles Morales,
or it could be that
suit.
one from Spider-Man 2000 where I think he wears like it's like some kind of nanotech suit that just like
has like armor on it and shit. Or
well, okay, so if have you ever seen the animated series? Not the first one.
Years ago.
Yeah. So what happens is he gets this nanotech tech that instead of him like putting on a suit, it comes out of this little thing that he has on, like I think it's like a little watch or something. Mm-hmm. It comes out and it covers his whole body, and now he's Spider-Man.
Gotcha.
So, and then it gives him powers because it gives him like all this other stuff, because of the nanotech there, and obviously it protects him and whatnot. That was the one where, for people that don't remember, I think it was called Spider-Man 2000. I think that's what the name of the animated series was, but it was because
it was Spider-Man 2099,
right? And he followed them to he followed Venom and Carnage to a different planet.
Yeah, that's Spider-Man 2099.
And I don't remember if he was it because Mary Jane got kidnapped and he was following her.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of
I don't remember.
Yeah, but it's Spider-Man in the future.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I gotta watch it myself.
Yeah.
I think we've spoiled enough. The only thing I do want to say, and I know this because a lot of things were spoiled. I get. Okay, fine. Maybe putting some people as instead of it being a white girl, a black girl, whatever. But here's my question: why in the hell is an Indian guy Flash Thompson?
Flash Thompson. Now I kind of get where they're going with that, because it's sort of like, okay, let's not get. Because then, since they already had Flash Thompson in the other movies, it's not going to be, it's not going to be him that gets the Venom, Venom symbiote doesn't attach to him. So it'll probably be Brock? Eddie Brock?
Eddie Brock.
Which I guess was technically what Topher Grace was playing, if I'm not mistaken. Topher Grace was the Eddie Brock and not Flash.
We don't talk about that.
That's what I'm saying. But, I'm just saying, in theory,
we don't
Topher Grace was supposed to be Eddie Brock. Topher Grace was Eddie Brock. But yeah, I think what they're doing is because remember, they got what's his face, the guy who plays Bane. They got him. He's going to be Eddie Brock, and I guess they said, look, let's make him more average. We're not going to make him this big giant fucking jock or whatever. We'll just make him a rich asshole, because that's what his character is, like a rich asshole, and has a lot of fucking money, and then just sort of like he likes just putting people down, and then he puts down Peter mostly because Peter doesn't fight back, because Peter Parker's sort of meek or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it, because I think this is the only time we're going to see him. We're not going to have Flash Thompson in any of the movies because they're going to focus on Eddie Brock, and Eddie Brock's going to be played by
right, but they don't need to. They don't need to. I feel like in that kind of situation, like they don't need to. What's the word? Like oversaturate, like race. Like they don't have to be like politically correct.
But also, I mean, just understand that this is. I mean, this is supposed to be a high school in Queens, for Christ's sake. And even when I went to Brooklyn Tech, I mean,
yeah, but do you see an Indian kid being Flash Thompson?
Well, it's the whole thing of the movie was he was just being Flash Thompson because he just needed to be the bully. So it doesn't have to be this big giant fucking jock.
Yeah, but do you... okay, let me put it to you this way. Do you see an Indian kid being named Flash Thompson? No. Do you see a black kid being named that? Yes. Do you see a white kid being named that? Yes.
I got you.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
But now, keep in mind, I mean, it could be, and once again, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Maybe his name isn't Flash. Maybe it's fucking, Kamal Preet. And I just say that because I have a friend named Kamal Preet. But how a lot of people who have, like, I have friends that are Indian and Asian, where they'll choose an American name. Like, they go, oh yeah, no, I'm Tom, and then you realize, no, their name ain't Tom. Like, their birth certificate doesn't say Tom. So maybe he has a more traditional Indian name and just chose Flash just to.
I guess, but I just
fit in and be American.
I hate when these Marvel and DC shows take it to the point where it's like we're gonna oversaturate race into it, and it's like, guys, I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to make these more multiracial. I get it. But you don't have to do it that bad. Like, he could have been a black kid. He would have been fine. Mm-hmm. Like, don't. Just because you didn't have an Indian kid in there does not mean you just go, well, you know what? We're going to pick Flash Thompson. Okay, yeah, all right. Time to move on from that. But I think we've talked enough about this.
All right. So, let's wrap this up.
That's what she said.
Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net where you can find all things show-related. I guess before I even say that, I want to apologize for the show. I mean, this episode could have been a bit better quality if I didn't fucking accidentally totally fuck up my notes, or my computer didn't fuck up my notes. Okay, so please visit Or
it may be better quality. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net where you can find all things show-related. First and foremost, you can find links to our iTunes page. If you have an iPhone, an iPad, or iPod, you can subscribe to us there on iTunes. But unfortunately, you only get our newer episodes. The same thing if you have an Android device and you don't have an iPhone or iPad or iPod. If you have an Android device, you can download us on the Stitcher app. That's STITCHER, the Stitcher app. If you're like me and you don't want to kill the battery on your phone or anything like that, you could put on Listen Later and available offline. So when you're in a Wi-Fi spot, you're at home, you're in the library, you're at a buddy's house stealing their Wi-Fi. You can download all the episodes that you want to download, and then later on just listen to them without draining your data or draining your battery. So that's what I do, and pretty much all the podcasts I listen to are available on Stitcher, Chris Hardwick's Nerdist, Kevin Smith's Smodcast, and of course Paul's other baby, the Tsunami Faithful Podcast, all available on, on the Stitcher app. And of course our main hosting site, SoundCloud, which we've been using a little less than a year now. So far, so good. I mean, our numbers went down, but it's not SoundCloud's fault. It's Paul's fault.
It's not my fault. Fuck you.
But no.
I actually put that on my personal profile, so I don't want to hear that shit. Okay.
And then, but SoundCloud, I believe, has apps for both Android and iPhone devices. If you go to the website, as in on an actual computer, I have made the episodes available for downloads. If you want to download them and listen to them later, if you want to put them on some other device other than your phone, you can do that. Or if you want to save them for posterity on your computer.
You don't want to save any of our podcasts, it's fine.
Oh, come on. Let's go back and listen to...
Oscar certainly doesn't.
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, we didn't have an Oscar letter this episode. So we are available on the SoundCloud app. Now, if you do want to go back and listen to well over 5 years of Two Strangers One Podcast and listen to our older episodes, you can go on YouTube and search for Two Strangers One Podcast. We don't have enough subscribers yet where I can actually get a domain name for us, so it's still like a generic thing. But just go on YouTube, search for Two Strangers One Podcast, and you should be able to find all of our older episodes. And then when you find the page, all you gotta do is find one episode, and then the page will connect you to all the episodes. So literally every single episode up until a couple episodes back are available on YouTube. And you could also find my Stranger Vlogs, which I'll probably start having a little more time to put aside to get, taking care of putting back up new Stranger Vlogs. If you want to follow us on Facebook, we're on facebook.com/Two Strangers One Podcast. We want your money. We need your money. We'll probably be starting a Patreon soon. But even if you can't send us a penny, take 2 seconds and
Chris will
share
be starting a Patreon.
Share and like our page on Facebook. Share and like this episode. Just any kind of exposure to let people know that we're a podcast that you listen to. That'd be awesome. Like I said, just share and like us. Say, hey, check these guys out. They're funny. Or check these guys out.
I hope we're funny.
Yeah, so we're on Facebook. We are technically on Twitter, even though the Twitter is basically just an echo of our Facebook page at twitter.com.
I could change that.
At Stranger Podcast. Yeah, I'm interactive, but not as interactive as I should be. And of course, if you want to write us, which unfortunately Superfan Oscar has not written us, which is almost disheartening. Am I not being offensive enough? Am I not? Well, Oscar is definitely going to want to listen to the next episode because he's gonna revel in my pain and maybe even goof on my success. So with that being said, you can write to us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. That's all spelled out. twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. I just wanted to go. I'm literally looking it up right now just to make sure that Oscar didn't send a letter.
I don't think anybody's going to be in promotions.
Yeah. Well, so, just in case it got misfiled, maybe Gmail put them in promotions. I can't think of anything else. I acquiesce the floor to you, sir.
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Paul Pascrillo. You can ask me questions. It's ask.fm/Paul Pascrillo. And of course you can you can go to Instagram.com/Paul Pascrillo. And if you ever want to email me, my email is paulpascrillo@toonamifaithful.com. So yeah.
Is that it?
That is it.
All that?
Yeah, hey, I don't have a big load like you do. That's what she said. That's what she said.
I've been coughing a lot recently, and I don't know if it's just being inactive or whatever. I can't breathe. I don't know. So in case I fucking die, just keep that in mind.
I get to take over the podcast if that happens.
Yeah, I'll leave the podcast to Paul.
There we go.
There it is on record. Okay, so we certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening and had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace. We're out.
Bye. You shouldn't be fapping.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne? Smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled Colon.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Fucking, are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I gotta meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia is spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea, man.
Is.
Look at her, fucking. She's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. And if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his comic books, heavy metal, video games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I
and
will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.